You are one man away from a totally different life. That life could be your dream life, or it could be a life from hell. The choice is yours. The type of man that you date has the power to make or break you. And I know what some of you are going to say, oh, I would never put that much power into the hands of a man. I get it. But if you had that much power, you wouldn't choose to date a certain type of man and continuously get your heart broken by them. Your power resides, yes, in who you are, but also in the type of man you choose to allow into your life. Whether you are a woman with a career, with money, with children, or with none of the above, same standards still apply. Your power lies in who you decide access into your life. Friends, family, romantic relationships, career, co-workers, it's all your decision. Your relationships have the power to help propel you in the direction of your dreams or shoot you down. One type of man can help support you, add value to your life, give you a sense of direction and clarity, or bring you down to his level, humble you, criticize you, hate on you, and hold you back. The right man gives you the mental space and the mental clarity to help you decide what's really meant for you in this lifetime, whether that's working a 9-to-5, owning a business, being a park ranger, being a Pilates princess, whatever it is. But if you get caught up in the conditioning that tells women to love unconditionally, to fall for broke men, to bend over backwards, to mother men, you'll hold yourself back from your life's purpose. What I've noticed in the difference between women who have partners that support them and those who don't is that the ones who do, you'll often hear them saying things like, I don't know what I did to deserve him. He's so amazing to me. He tends to my every need. He goes above and beyond. He's beautiful. I love him so much. These women didn't just do things to make themselves a valuable partner for their husband or their boyfriend. They followed the way they felt. They followed their intuition. And that's why they're saying, I don't know what I did to deserve him. He's so amazing. It's because they choose to feel that way. They choose a man who spoils them in that way. That's because your worth and your deservability is a given. It already exists. You've just got to follow the way that you want to feel in your life. So you can choose a man who makes you go, man, I don't know what I did to deserve this amazing treatment. Or you can choose a man who goes, man, I don't know what I did to deserve this shitty treatment. The difference between the two is nothing but a choice. That's all it is. My name is Kirsty and welcome to another episode of Good Girls in Remission. For this episode, we're going to be exploring signs to look for in good men, so that when you're single and you are dating, you know exactly what to look for in the right man, and you are attuned to the green flags, not just the red flags. Let's get straight into it. The first sign you're going to look for is a calm man, not a chill dude. There's a huge difference between the two. Sounds like the same thing. I know they're synonymous, but they're really not. They are two opposite ends on the spectrum. A calm man is someone who has developed the conflict resolution skills, communication, and has empathy. He doesn't take things personally when you bring up an issue with him, but that's what the chill dude will do. The chill dude fights to remain chill. And if you present an issue to him, maybe it's a reaction to some of his poor behavior, he will act as if that reaction is an inconvenience to his chill atmosphere, to his chill energy. And what the chill dude is more likely to do is make it seem like you're the inconvenience and not him, because you're disrupting his mood. So he's going to get rid of you, he's going to gaslight you, fight with you, make it seem like it's your fault. But the calm guy, who is already a calm person, who is doing the inner work, who is self-aware, this kind of man sees you as a human being and someone with needs. In his eyes, the purpose of conflict is to lead to a resolution rather than greater fractures. It's fusion over fractures. He's not going to fight to be right. He's not going to fight to defend his ego and the story that he tells himself. He's going to hold the space for you. He's not going to lash out in anger like a chill dude would. He's going to be a safe container in which you can express your emotions with him. He is an amazing person to be around and he feels so safe. He's especially aware of his inherent power as a man in his masculine energy. He allows you to come forth in your feminine energy. But the chill dude who fights to be right, who fights to always be chill, is fighting a lot of demons. Anyone who is that incessant on remaining a chill person, yet hasn't developed the conflict resolution skills and communication, is fighting some sort of inner battle. And you'll know the difference between how both of them handle conflict and the way that you feel in response to that. You'll feel heard, safe, and seen, and even closer with him after a conflict. Whereas with the chill dude, you'll feel abandoned, unsafe, unheard, unseen, and pushed into that masculine energy because he is unable to provide a container for you in which you can feel safe to express your needs and emotions. And this leads into my second sign, which is consistency. It's important here to have a very clear understanding of what you want and what you expect in a partnership. Because sometimes insecure men will put you through tests to judge your character and see what you're willing to put up with. I have seen a trend online at the Cheesecake Factory phase. I think that's an American chain of restaurants that are on the cheaper side. If a man is taking you on nice fancy dates in the first couple of times and then he bumps you down to a Cheesecake Factory date, something that's low effort and non-personal to you, there's a chance there that he's putting you through a gold digger test. I'm not a fan of these tests because to me it lacks character in him. It comes from a place of defensiveness rather than trust. And there's just no need. This man is better off being consistent from the very beginning rather than putting you through a series of hoops and tests to see if you're loyal. Because when you participate in these tests, and maybe you're not even aware that you're in these tests, you run the risk that you're showing him you're available for hard times. If he's a man that is going to put you through hell, he's going to test you with little bits along the way. That's why we need to see signs of consistency. And when you see where that consistency is taking you, you can decide whether to stay or leave. Have that vision in your head of exactly what you want to experience. If you are a woman wanting a man with money, there is nothing wrong with that. Or if you're a woman who's not really interested in that, that's also fine. Consistency is still the key here. And what you want to look out for is the type of effort he puts into each date. Is it planned? Is it personal to you? Is he getting to know you? Is it something that he knows that you like? Maybe he's buying you a food that you mentioned that you loved earlier. Maybe he's taking to a restaurant you said you wanted to go to. Maybe he's bought you some flowers that he knows you like. These are critical signs to look out for to decipher whether this man is interested in you or just interested in getting something from you. Third sign to look out for in a good man is financial literacy. We are ending the era of dating broke men. Financial literacy does not always have to look like driving a Lamborghini. In fact, it can be the very opposite. You might be better off dating a man who's got a Prius that's paid off compared to a Lamborghini that's on loan because he can't afford to pay for one himself. You're better off dating the man with an apartment that's paid off or has structured payment plans rather than a man who's living in a mansion he can't afford. Financial literacy looks like consistent income, investment plans, belongings that are paid off or have a payment plan. They also have the expendable income to spend on you, to buy you the flowers, to take you on the dates. Because if you two are dating and he's trying to split bills with you, or he's inviting you to move into his house with him, but you've got to split rent with him, most of the time he's not looking for a partner he can really invest in. He's looking for a roommate with benefits. And you can say, oh, that's just pure gold digging right there. What value is she contributing to the relationship? What is she bringing to the table? If you are asking those questions as a man, you are not ready to date, or you haven't found someone that you really like yet. And if you as a woman are saying that, you need to look a little bit deeper at your self-worth and what you do bring to the table, because it goes beyond financial investment. If 50-50 is more your thing, make sure the relationship is actually 50-50, because in most cases, it never really is. And that's why I never encourage women to settle for that kind of relationship. The next sign to look out for is he getting to know you on a more personal level? Is he asking you questions? Is he engaged with your likes and your dislikes, your preferences and desires, what your interests and your hobbies are? He should be asking you questions, getting to know you like the back of his hand, and then each date should be a little bit more personal. It's not about going from one fine dining restaurant to the next. It's about how are they catered to you and your relationship with him. That's going to set the tone for your relationship in the future. This is your time as well to get a little bit more playful and flirty so you can subtly indicate to him what you like. Oh, I just love the smell of lilies. They're so beautiful. Oh, I love wearing gold hoops. I just feel like they make my face really pop. Oh, I've been looking for the perfect cream handbag everywhere. I just know when I find the right one with a gold zip, it's going to go with at least 10 of my outfits. Lindt chocolate is my favorite. My uncle used to buy them for me all the time, and it just brings back such good memories. There's this restaurant that I've been dying to go to for such a long time. I just haven't had the right company to go with. That's how we invite a man in using feminine energy. The next sign, and this is a little bit more of a nuanced one, is that he isn't turned off by your interest in him. This is why I don't stand attachment games in women. I think it's a form of wounded manipulation, because if you're in the early stages of dating and your approach to it is, I'm going to use certain tactics to get him hooked into me because I don't think who I am is enough, it's coming from a place of, I don't believe I'm good enough, so I need to put on a face, on a facade. I need to pretend that I'm detached when I'm actually really interested in him. That's not real feminine energy. That's a wounded feminine energy. But a healed feminine energy is owning, I love myself and who I am. But if I'm rejected by a man, they're not rejecting me as a person. We're just not a compatible fit, and I don't need to take that personally. So there's no need to play the detachment games. I'd prefer to be with someone who I can be my true self with and show him that I like him, that I'm interested in him, that I want to have a genuine connection with him. But this is where the nuance part comes in, because this isn't to be confused with anxious attachment and clinginess. The perfect place to come from is really giving yourself the love that you're looking for in a relationship before you go looking for it, so that you're not in desperate need of it from anyone. If you feel like you are hurting and in desperate need of a man's affection and kindness, you are not ready to date. I understand that you've most likely been hurt in the past, but you've got to take time to give the love to yourself, because no man, as much as he can even try, can fill that void inside of you, at least for a sustained amount of time. He might be able to do it temporarily in the early stages, but if you keep having that self-doubt creeping up, you're going to do everything in your power to sabotage it, because you haven't healed that woundedness yet. Choose someone who is consistently showing effort so that you can feel safe enough to reciprocate. I always say I think men should be initiating at least 80% of dates and communication. Your job is to reciprocate and reflect it back to him. If he's initiating and you're not showing interest, playing detachment games, he's going to move on and assume you're not interested in him. But if you can reciprocate, as long as his actions and the way that he communicates is in integrity and he's not hitting you up with last minute plans, that's how you create a beautiful dynamic between the masculine and the feminine. The next sign, and this is a pretty obvious one, is that he's not suggesting sexually linking with you too early in the relationship. If he's suggesting it too early, that is a cutoff sign. It is a huge red flag that he doesn't see you seriously. Oh, but what about situationships? My friend was in a situationship and now it's a long-term relationship. Good for them. Is that how you want to start your relationship with someone? Get real about what you want. If that works for them and that's what they're comfortable settling with, that's great. Take your attention off other people and back onto yourself. If he is suggesting sexually linking with you too early, that is a red flag. We don't want someone who reduces us to our physical benefits. Personally, I couldn't think of a more boring experience to be sexually intimate with a man and not have the dates, not be spoiled, not get the gifts, not be introduced to the family and friends, not allow myself to get excited. I have to hold myself back because I'm technically not dating this man, even though I'm giving him access to my very body. If your group of friends have all started their relationships through casual encounters, it may be beneficial for you, if that's not your intention, to start surrounding yourself with different kinds of people who are either in long-term relationships, rotationally dating, or loving themselves unconditionally. I made the decision to exit hookup culture and the friendships associated with hookup culture, and it was an amazing decision for me because it unnormalized that kind of relationship structure. When I took that time away to focus and pour my love back into me, my circle began to change and I began to see what I wanted, whereas previously I didn't think it was possible because it wasn't demonstrated around me. And if you don't know who to hang out with yet in your immediate circle, start looking online and following your favorite creators on YouTube, on Instagram, so that you can have that external reaffirmation of the kind of life that you want. That's one of the best things about the internet, is that it puts you into connection with people who aren't available to you in your immediate circles. And once you find a creator who thinks a different way to what you do or what your friends do, it can open your mind up to so many different possibilities. And the thing about exiting hookup culture, it's not just from the point of view of if he sleeps with you, he's not going to respect you. It's more from the point of view of if you start to get intimate with someone, you run the risk of emotionally hooking yourself onto someone who isn't the best fit for you. I do notice a lot of women in situationships who think they're in love with who they're sleeping with because that's what their hormones are telling them. They're getting their hormones involved rather than thinking logically. Okay, is this man financially literate? Is he over his ex? Is he open and willing to date? Is he going to put in the time and effort to get to know me more? How are you asking these things if you're already intimate with this man? Don't encourage running the risk of clouding your judgment and falling for someone who may not be the best fit for you. Don't kid or clown yourself into falling in love with someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart or isn't 100% committed to you. Because yes, there is a chance that it could actually develop into a relationship, and that might not be the blessing that you think it is. And one of the final signs that he's a good man is that he fully celebrates you. He's your biggest supporter, your best friend, your teammate. I know that's a little bit further down the line in the relationship, but you can get a sense of how supportive he is based on how he celebrates your accomplishments and your achievements. If he downplays them, he humbles you, insinuates that it's not that big of a deal, or maybe he tries to story trump you with something that he did, he's not a supporter, he's a hater. It's so sad when I see women falling for their biggest haters because they're so used to criticizing themselves that they then fall for men who criticize them because to them that's normal behavior. It's not. It's not normal to be constantly humbled and downplayed by your man. He needs to celebrate your accomplishments like they're his own. Because I know there's a big chance that you watching this, you celebrate your man's achievements, or if you're in a relationship, you would. So you should expect the same for yourself as well. His support for you can also look like just simply complimenting you when you look beautiful, going out of his way to make sure that you feel beautiful in his company, because a good man knows how important it is for a woman to feel beautiful in his company. Or if he sees that you're a bit down or you're not as chipper as what you usually are when you're with him, he makes an effort to ask why, if there's something that he can do, or if he brings you a gift, maybe the favorite chocolates that he knows you like. And that's a good sign of friendship as well, because you are friends just as much as you are lovers. A man wants to feel useful in your company, so if you give him things to do and you celebrate him, he's going to want to keep giving to you, and that's going to participate in your receptivity, the way that you could receive things. And when you're able to receive, you can multiply them. Because a man really does take value in how much impact he has on his wife's or his partner's mood. So many people whinging about women's entitlement. What are you doing to deserve gifts? These people need to pipe down. A man who loves you wants to put a smile on your face. My own dad went to work bragging about the things that he did for my mom on Valentine's Day. He was so proud of himself, so happy that he could put a smile on her face and do something for her. It made him feel proud to be her husband. So please ignore those narratives that police women from accepting in relationships that really add value to her life. You have amazing value just by being who you are as a woman. Your gifts are inherent. You don't need to explain them to anyone. You don't need to defend them. That's something I've given up doing on the internet as well, to men who have been like, oh, well, what do you bring to the table? And I've previously gone out of my way to explain all of the benefits in a dot point way. And I'm kind of embarrassed that I did that, because you know what it was met with? Well, that's not enough. I don't really care about that. I can get the same thing from a woman who will go 50-50 with my bills. As if that kind of attitude from men isn't spoiled, bratty, and entitled. So don't put yourself in situationships and relationships in which you have to explain or dot point your worth and what you bring to the table. They're not the one for you. If they can't see it and they're not willing to act on it, they're certainly not going to change their mind if you explain it to them. It's not your job to convince anyone of your worth or for anyone to treat you right. That's a given. Stay attuned to the good signs to look for in men so that you can quickly vet the ones who only want to take from you and will fake interest in you just to get you hooked on them to validate their own internal void. The stronger you are with your boundaries and your standards, which is your dark feminine energy, the better time you're going to have when you date. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. That concludes Signs of Good Men, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.